As you can see, I'm 24 and I just shaved my hair off, right? And I'm telling you this because it's literally given me one of the biggest realizations that I could not share from you. And just to reference, I'm sort of realizing it as I'm talking to you, but I wanted you guys to share the realization with me. I wanted you to share it with me so that we can be in this together. But one main thing is that I actually got something wrong for a long time. I thought you could only build confidence with like my physique, right? 10% body fat, very lean, used to be fat, all these sorts of things. But it turns out I've been wrong about that. And I'm coming to this realization now is because the reason I feel confident in my physique right now is because I know that I did the work to build it. So right now I'm realizing that confidence isn't only built in the physique, it can be built in literally anything, because the premise is that mentally in here, you're keeping the promises with yourself. All right, so it could be the same as if you woke up at the same time every single solitary day. It could be if you are starting a business and you did every single solitary thing that you said you'd do that day. That's where confidence comes from. It comes in the mind. Right? But there's one other thing that I want to talk to you about first before I go into depth about the physique and the confidence and all these other things. And it's that everything that I believed in my mind, everything that you believe in your mind is a reflection, and you actually look for ways to fuel your own ego about that, right? Because I was self-conscious about my hair for so long because it was thin. I fucking hated it. So I wore a hat. So I took all these actions that aligned with the fact that my mindset hated it. Right? So if you, for example, are fat right now, right? But you constantly hate it. You constantly think about it. You constantly find ways. This is why you eat food that's shit for you. This is why you might drink. This is why you might do all these things, because you think in your head this is who you really are. That's actually what you believe. And because we have an ego as men, even if it hurts us, even if it gives us pain, we still don't want to fuck with our own ego. We still don't want to choose the uncomfortable option, to choose the hard option in our life, to become someone new, to create that new identity, because it goes against our beliefs. So even if you're in pain right now, going through a struggle, if you don't like your physique, or you don't like your career, if you don't like your work, if you don't like your job, something like that, something that I still struggle with as well, is that even if we believe it, we don't like to admit to ourselves that we need to change, that we need to become someone different, because our mind is so set on the beliefs that it's already got. Our emotions are attached to the beliefs that we've already got. So if we go to change, if we go try to do something different, it hurts our own ego, right? Which is just a biological thing about ourselves. It's just a natural thing that we have in our biology and our psychology, right? But when we know this, when you actually understand what I'm trying to say to you right now, and I really hope you do, because I'm really unfolding this, is that anytime you have pain, anytime that you have struggle, anytime that you know that you need to become someone new, that you want to change your identity, if you feel like you're in a fight against yourself and you can't seem to change your actions, to change your habits, it's because our own egos fight against us, which seems weird, right? It doesn't seem normal that we want to change, we want to be different, but because of our beliefs, our mind doesn't let us, right? Because there's these things called domain-based beliefs, then there's identity-based beliefs, and there's behavior beliefs. So basically growing up, we get a whole heap of experiences in our lives, a whole heap of different things happen in our lives, right? And all these experiences, if someone says to you, oh, people don't really care about their appearance, right? If someone says that to you when they're really young, you probably might not care about your appearance right now, right? But if that's what you believe, this is where the identity-based belief comes in. If you believe, oh, well, no one really cares about their appearance, then you're going to act, which is the behavior, in accordance to that belief that you have about people, right? And then that's why it's so hard to change. That's why it's so challenging to do something different. That's why it's so difficult, because we have to challenge our whole belief system from when we were younger, from when we went through different experiences growing up. It's like, for a long time, my parents were divorced since I was a kid, and I fucking never wanted a family. This is a real random tangent, but I never wanted a family. But lately, I realized just because they were divorced, and I had a whole other, like pretty much everyone I knew, they got divorced, right? So growing up, I was like, fuck, I don't want a family like that. I don't even want a family, literally, at all. And that was because of my beliefs growing up, that that's what a family looked like. And it wasn't until I realized the other day, I've been going through all these massive realizations, is that these beliefs that we have right now, they are just experiences that we've been through in our lives. Which means that we can't change the experience, but we can change what we input into ourselves, what we want to create out of our own life. Because now, I want a beautiful wife. I want 2 beautiful children. And I tell you all this because me shaving my head for a long time, I made it up in my own goddamn head that I would look dumb with a shaved head. I mean, I don't mind it. It doesn't look too bad. I would look stupid. And, you know, it's just all made up in my own head. I manifested it in my own head. I was the one that for a long time was like, oh, I just have to wear a hat. I've got thin hair. I'll just hold on to it. It'll look dumb if I fucking shave it off. I never want to do that. But no one else told me that. I made it up in my head. And I made myself believe it. And because I didn't want to challenge my own ego, I never went and got the fucking haircut. For a long time. Literally years. Right? So a lot of the things that we don't like about ourselves, we make them up in our own head. And they manifest into our real life. Because then we look for ways to actually support the idea that we don't like them about ourselves. And it goes the other way around. Like if you like something about yourself, if you grew up and you got told as a kid that you're really good at something, it could be art, it could be sport, it could be whatever. Ever since you were a little kid, I guarantee you, you would have found ways to support that. And now you probably think you're still very good at it, right? If you think that you're good at cooking, you're probably going to find ways to support the idea that you're good at cooking, right? Every time you go to cook a meal, you're like, oh yeah, I grew up, I've always been good at cooking, right? That's just a belief that you have based on things we went through as a kid. Or any experience pretty much up to where you are right now. But when you get to know this and when you understand what I'm telling you right now, is that these beliefs that we have, if there's negative ones about it, we can't change the past, right? We can't change that. But what we can do is understand that we manifest this. If there's negative things about us, we manifest it into our own lives and tell ourselves and support the idea because we don't want to hurt our own ego. But because you now know this, because you should understand this, hopefully, is what I'm hoping for, is that means that if there's something that you don't like about yourself, that you can almost do the exact opposite and change your beliefs and challenge your ego because you now know it's just your own ego and something that I had to figure out. That means you pretty much just have to go completely against it. That's why I don't know if you're on self-improvement or personal development watching this. That's why it's so hard to go against the grain of your friends, because you know, and that's what you've been around for so long, and it hurts your ego to try to do something different, even if you want to, even if you feel like you need to. That's why first getting into the gym is so hard, because it goes against everything that you've believed so far in your life. That's what I struggled with as well. And it's that exact thing, right? We know things are good for us. We know certain things would benefit our lives, but we don't do them because of our beliefs from when we were growing up and the experiences that we went through growing up. And shaving my head, this is fucking random how it all came together like this, but it's case in point. Growing up, I always knew I had thin hair. From when I shaved it in literally year 10, for me that was like probably is 10 years ago. 10 years ago now, and I'm 24. And I never wanted to shave it again because of that. Because I believed that I'd look like shit. Because I believed that I had thin hair. And then I manifested it. I wore a hat all the time, thinking I needed to wear a hat. Right? But I was just self-sabotaging. That's what self-sabotage is. It's just because we believe something about ourselves, we just think, we don't want to challenge our ego, so we never change. And it's like, this should be a really, really mentally freeing thing to know for you. Because when you know this, when you know that you actually can change, and then it's just your own ego working against you because we prefer to be more comfortable, because we prefer to stay where we are rather than choose the hard option of changing because it's a challenge and there's pain involved in it. Right? Our bodies don't like, our minds don't like trying to become someone new. That's why like 80 to 90% of people who lose fat, they put it back on. Right? Because they don't actually change who they are as a person mentally up here. And then they fall back to the same standard. And that's why it is hard, right? Because for a little while, you have to change your own beliefs, which you've been shaped into believing now, and you've found so many things to support it. Every single solitary belief, every single solitary thing about you now is just a set of beliefs that you went through, a set of experiences that you went through growing up. That is literally it. It is literally it. That is what shapes you. Everyone asks who you are, who I am, who am I? That's it. A whole lot of experiences that you've been through growing up as a kid. That's it. And this is a very funny way to show that. But the one thing that it did teach me about confidence as well is that you can find confidence in anything. The physique was the way that I did it. Self-development was the way that I did it. Keeping promises to myself was the way that I did it. Through building the physique, through bodybuilding shows, through all these things. But that's not to say that you can't find confidence in meditating every day for 10 minutes and showing up for work every day, not being sick. That's why like some people won't even ever take a sick day, because it challenges their own ego that, oh no, I've never taken a sick day. Right? They find confidence in themselves in doing that. That's why people won't take a sick day. And I hope this all makes a whole lot of sense, because in my head it is, right? But it's quite a hard concept to grasp. And yeah, it's literally mind-blowing when you understand that the psychology behind it is actually, we don't want to challenge our own ego based on our own beliefs that we had growing up. But if you can understand that all it is a set of beliefs that you have based on experiences that you've been through, that means that you can change them. Because I quite like it. I genuinely quite like it. I think it makes my eyes look quite good, right? But yeah, like it's this, man. If you want to change anything, people say, oh, just change your belief. What the fuck does that even mean? Well, this is what it means. The experiences that you've been through have shaped you to where you are right now. But because you now know this, and because it's challenging your ego, all you have to understand is any time that you go to change and do something new, and it resists you, you feel that pull against you, you feel that emotional tug, just remember that that is just your own ego trying to keep you where you are in the comfortable position, because they don't want you to become someone new. Anytime you feel that resistance, anytime that you feel like you can push harder, but your body just, like, your mind just won't let you, that's the part that we need to win. Because that is that little bit of ego, that is that resistance, that is that mind fuck in your head, keeping you where you are. And it's something that I struggle with now, changing my identity now. Right? Because I want to create a massive community. I want to create a group of hardworking men, disciplined men that want to actually change and become someone new for their family, become someone better, become the change in their family like I want to be. Right? Because I spent like 2 years on self-development now. Moved overseas, a couple bodybuilding shows, personal development, self-improvement. And this is probably one of the number one lessons that I've learned along the whole way, is that people will tell you to change your mindset. It fucks me off. Because what does it actually mean in a tangible way? And it means changing your beliefs, but what does that actually mean? Changing your beliefs is changing your inputs, is changing your habits based on who you are right now to who you want to become. That's why you have to envision, you have to have a clear picture on who you are, who you want to become, and the actions that it takes to get there. Now, you're obviously not going to have all the data, but you can have a pretty good fucking idea, right? If you want to lose 20 pounds, you have to actually become and create the identity to lose the 20 pounds and keep it off. Right? Otherwise it just comes back. So you can create habits, you can change, but if you just slip back, there's no point. There's no point. You have to create a new identity, and that's why it's hard. But knowing this, you now have an absolute fucking weapon that most people don't. I promise you. If you can just remember in that hard time, that struggle against yourself, what I like to do now is I'm not good enough to be the man that I want to become, but I can still make the decisions that he would make in this very moment against myself. So when I fight the battle against myself, I'm not versing myself right now. I'm versing the little bitch voice right now, but with the person who's making the decision that has created the life that I want to live. I use his decision against my little bitch voice now. That's how I win. And that's how you can win as well. But I really hope that makes sense. It's a bit of a long one, and if you did watch all the way through to this one, God bless you. If you do want help with fitness, mindset, discipline, the psychology behind why you eat the crap that you eat, why you can't stick to your word, why you can't stay consistent, it's like all psychology. But now that you know this, remember, stick to it every day and remind yourself of this video every single solitary day. And if this helped you in any way, please put it down in the comments, please. I want to hear you, what it might have given you a realization for, what you might be struggling with, what belief you have about yourself that you want to change, anything like that, right? Start opening up. I want to create a community where we just fucking build on top of each other, right? So thank you. I will see you in the next one.